Well, morning at any rate. I haven't mentioned this in the previous video, but I do have a day job, so all of this restoration is going to have to take place before work and after work. And if I manage to get a lunch break, then I might do a little bit in the lunch break. I am fortunate in that my office is pretty close to where I have my workshop, so this should be manageable, I hope. But it's currently 6:45, and that gives me a couple of hours to make a little bit of progress. So I'm going to tear the bike down. Not sure whether that's a good phrase or not, but dismantle it essentially, because I think all of the frame components want a coat of paint. So anything that was black has basically got scratches or scrapes or a little bit of lime corrosion on it or whatever. So I'm going to get that just lightly rubbed down. It has been powder coated before, so we're going to lightly rub that down once it's dismantled and give it a nice coat of gloss black. There's some other bits and pieces that are going to get gloss black that haven't been powder coated before, so they'll need a little bit more prep than that. The idea being that if we get this done now, it can be hardening while I finish off the gearbox and get stuck into the engine. I have had a little look at the engine, certainly as the seller advised me. The big end has been done in it. Insides of the cases look lovely. Wants a bit of a clean up on the outside, so I will probably dismantle it, just give it a bit of a clean, wash a bit of oil through it, start putting it back together. The things that I'm going to have to check on the engine are going to be things like cam followers, because they weren't fitted, and just make sure that the valve seats are alright. But it's a side valve engine, and they will pretty much run, you know, in really bad state. So I don't envisage there being a huge amount of problems with this as long as the big end's mechanically sound, as he said. So what I'll do now is we're going to crack on. I'm going to time lapse the disassembly just so you can see it, and then I will make a start at sanding bits and pieces. Thanks for watching. Thank goodness that's over. One thing that I've learned from this little experience is that the powder coating on these was very thin, and that sort of explains all the scrapes where there's white marks, and those white marks initially I'd thought were lime from the ceiling of the place where this bike was stored, but they're not. They're the undercoat showing through the powder coating. So maybe it's already been sanded down once, maybe the intention was always to paint on top of the side powder coating, I don't know. But that's all done. There are some bits that I think are going to want a slightly better finish than the powder coating has left them, so those pieces I'm going to use filler on and just tickle up a little bit nicely, more nicely rather than the majority, which, you know, if there's a little bit of pitting and so on, I don't mind that. It shows a little bit of the history of the bike. It's not new. It's coming up to 100-year-old. It's not going to be perfect. And while it will be restored to a nice standard, I think it shouldn't be better than they were when they left the showroom or they left the motor dealers back in the day. So this one I think will probably be about right. So I will now show you what we have ended up with. So I'm just going to go and grab the camera. Here we go. And so this is the nice little pile of sanded components. These bits here are the ones that are going to end up with a bit of filler and a bit better primer on, probably high build primer and so on. And while I've been doing that, I have dismantled the back wheel off camera. So there's the hub, and the new belt rim and wheel rim are currently getting some rust treatment on them at the moment. Hopefully get them cleaned up a little bit later on. But the plan now is to get as much of this into paint as I can, and that'll just give it longer to cure.